Hi, I'm Matt Jackson from Jackson's Gymnastics Consultancy. Today I've paired with Gym Club Solutions and we're going to look at handspring variation. So we're going to look at a first progression for fly springs as a handspring variation. Using the gymnast, we're going to look at an exercise to develop body tension so the gymnast understands how to hold their body in a tight line whilst performing the skill. So the gymnast is going to come to the beam. Hands are going to be on the beam. We're going to get the gymnast to suck their ribs in, get their head neutral position. We're going to lift the gymnast and help them maintain a tight body position. We're then going to move the gymnast to a fully extended position. So their body has to maintain tension. We're going to bring them up into a handstand position and then we're going to lower them. See if the gymnast can maintain that tension whilst pressing on the beam. Very good, last time. Okay, so we're going to look at another progression that we can do for fly springs. We can use a set of wall bars. Again, if you don't have wall bars in your gym, you could use a wall, a block, a bar, anything where the gymnast can rest their feet against in the gym. Okay, we're going to look at how we can extend through the shoulders so the gymnast understands how to block out of the floor. So we're going to have a sinking motion and then a tall extension through the shoulders. So the gymnast is going to kick to handstand. Feet are going to go against the wall bars. We're going to maintain that tight arch position and we're going to ask the gymnast to shrug through the shoulders. So they're going to sink through the shoulders and then they're going to push tall through the shoulders. So when their gymnast contacts the floor, we want them to block tall through the shoulders to then maintain that finishing position. Another progression we can use for fly springs is using the trampoline in the gym. So we're going to ask the gymnast to start with their arms by their ears to maintain a nice open shoulder angle. The gymnast is going to drop to their knees with a small bounce, pushing forwards to keep a nice open shoulder angle. Then they're going to maintain the bounce, go back to their knees and back to handstand. Let's see. So the gymnast is going to keep their shoulders open, push forwards from their knees to handstand. Very good, good girl. Okay, and relax, well done. Another progression we can use for fly springs is using the trampoline in the gym for the gymnast to jump along the trampoline, maintaining a stiff body, then traveling forwards at a distance so they can contact the end of the trampoline through a nice handstand and blocking a way to land in an extended position on their back. The gymnast will now demonstrate. The next stage of progressions for fly spring will be moving from the gymnast popping off and landing on their back in extended position to take the gymnast to a standing position, maintaining the same tension and then allowing the gymnast to fall forwards in tension onto the soft mat. So we're now going to look at progressions for supporting the fly spring, okay? The gymnast is going to use the fast track today so it's less impact on their hands and they can do many repetitions. When we support the gymnast, as they travel towards us, our first hand's going to go around their core, the second hand will be on their back, and then we'll change the hand that's on their core to their arm so we can get the gymnast to finish in a nice open shoulder angle position. Okay, so nice and tall. So the gymnast will bounce. Yeah, good girl. Now look at the gymnast doing multiple fly springs. So to support the multiple fly springs, we'll change the hand to not stop their shoulders. The gymnast will perform that part themselves as we traverse with them. So the core will be supported and the final handspring will have their arm by their ears. Okay, okay, so tall. So long jumps. And final progression we can use for fly springs on the floor, we're using the gymnast and a soft mat so that we can take a little bit of the impact out of their elbows and wrists and an extra soft crash mat so they can travel forwards and land like we've done before. We're going to ask the gymnast to perform the skill now and we're going to support the skill and I'll show each stage of it for you. Arms tall. Good girl. Good. Good girl. After this stage, the gymnast can progress on to do the full skill on the actual floor area. Using the soft mat is just the stage that we introduced beforehand just to protect the gymnast's wrists and elbows. Once the gymnast has established the skill and they're doing it fine, they can then progress on to do it onto the hard floor. We're now going to look at another progression for handspring variations. This is going to be the start of a handspring to one leg. So the gymnast is going to start with their back facing the beam. We're going to ask the gymnast to keep the nice open shoulder angle that we've been looking at before. The head is going to be neutral in between the arms so they can see their fingers. A nice tight arch in the back. standing on the toes, and we're going to ask the gymnast to lift the front leg that they're going to land on. The gymnast is going to hold the leg as high as they can. Lovely. And then we're going to try and ask the gymnast to releve on their bottom foot. So we want the gymnast to have a nice extended toe and a nice open shoulder angle. Can you hold it there for me? Excellent, good girl. And relax, well done. The next progression we can use for handspring to one is using a block in the gym to give the gymnast a barrier to think about holding their front leg high so that it doesn't drop and close their legs together, creating lack of momentum moving forwards for their next handspring. So the gymnast is going to perform the skill now. We're going to ask the gymnast to join the legs together first into a handstand and then separate. We're going to separate the supporting. The gymnast is going to be supported around the core and then onto the shoulders. So kick to handstand. So here around the core, then we're going to ask the gymnast to separate their leg, touching the front leg just above the block, keeping a nice open shoulder angle and an extension through the bottom leg. Good go. The progression we're going to do is similar to the last one we've shown, but we're going to build the speed into the exercise now. So the gymnast is going to come, join their legs together in handstand, and then they're going to show a separation, finishing on the block with their leg held above. The supports will be the same, and we'll look at where the gymnast finishes with their eyes and their arms. So the gymnast will start nice and tall and with speed now. So we're joining and separating. Good girl. Once the gymnasts have established the handspring to one using the preparations before, we're going to ask the gymnast to move on to try and connect multiple handsprings to one together. This will build up their stamina and their endurance when they're doing forwards tumbling. So we're going to ask the gymnast to perform and try and look for the key points. The gymnast should have their arms by their ears, looking at their fingers. The legs should join together first in the handspring and then make a nice separation afterwards. Good girl. Some of the side stations or conditioning preparations we can use for handspring to one will help develop the hip flexor muscles. So when we're using the wall bars, we can ask the gymnast to do a pike up, a pike fold with their legs together to the top of the wall bars and back down. Another variation we can use, especially for handspring to one, is to use one leg at a time, which is extra hard for the gymnast to perform, but it will give them extra stability and strength in the hip flexors when they're performing a handspring to one to try and hold their leg at horizontal. The final one we can use is giving the gymnast a bit of pressure on their legs so they have to work against us to bring their legs back to horizontal, again helping to develop the hip flexors for using these handspring progressions. Okay, so moving forwards, we're now going to show connecting variations of handsprings together. Following on from what we've done previously, we're now going to connect a handspring to one leg into a flighted handstand hop. The next progression we're going to show is moving the handspring into the flighted hop into a connected handspring one to handspring two now. So the gymnast will now perform both handsprings fully supported, and we'll look at the positions for placing the hands. So we're going to support around the core, and then we're going to support around the core and then onto the arm at the end to show the gymnast where they should be finishing looking. Okay? Once the gymnast has been competent at trying to connect the skills together beforehand, we then move on to the gymnast trying to do the skill unsupported with the aid of the fast track and the soft mat. The final progression for connecting the handsprings together will be bringing it to the floor. The gymnast will perform the element with a soft mat on the floor and a crash mat for their safety. Once they can do that and it's consolidated again, we can remove the mats and the gymnast can perform the connecting skills on the actual floor area. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. Please take it away, use it in your clubs, look at different progressions, different techniques, different supports, and enjoy the journey of learning multiple connecting handsprings with your gymnasts.